Hi all, my name is Gagan and I'm currently working as a senior solution engineer here at Provar. During my 10 years of career, I have done manual testing, automation testing, and actually I have worked with a lot of automation tools. So yeah, very well versed in the QA space. So this would be our agenda items for today's webinar. We'll start with a quick introduction about Provar, like who we are, what we do. And after that, we'll be having a quick overview about the Salesforce Government Cloud. And then we'll be seeing some of the most common use cases that is being used as part of Salesforce Gov Cloud. After that, we'll be seeing why testing the Salesforce Government Cloud is so important and actually how Provars helps you to achieve that. Following that, we'll be having a live product demo and then we'll be having a Q&A session. So yeah, before we move forward with the agenda items, I just want to quickly introduce Provar, like who we are, what we do. So Provar is a test automation tool built for Salesforce. It actually helps you to test your applications end to end. Using Provar, you can perform UI testing, API testing, database testing, email testing, and many more. And also, Provar has the capability to actually integrate with multiple external systems like NetSuite, Zora, etc. It's been a decade. We are in this industry now and serving customers all over the world. In addition to that, we do have our offices in US, UK, and India that actually give us the ability to serve our customers 24 by 5. Now, let's see what Salesforce GovCloud is. It's actually a very special version of Salesforce that is designed or made for the US government agencies like federal, state, and the local departments. It helps these agencies to work faster and smarter while also keeping the data safe and secure. The government cloud actually follows strict US guidelines like FedRAMP and DoD standards. With this cloud, agencies can manage cases, risk, talk to citizens, and actually build apps all in one place. It also supports tools for automation, workflows, and AI-driven insights to actually make their day-to-day tasks a little bit easier. It's built to grow with agency needs and can run on secure server like AWS Cloud or Salesforce own secure system that is known as the Hyperforce. So yeah, so these are actually one of the most common use cases for GovCloud. And one of the biggest use case is the case management, right? Because using the case management, the agencies and the teams can actually handle citizen requests, their concerns, and their services more quickly and in a more organized way. Agency also uses it for the permit licensing and the inspection kind of stuff. Like someone applies for a license, right? So they actually keep track all this kind of applications in this cloud. It's also very helpful when we talk about emergencies like natural disasters, because using this, team can actually track resources, manage shelters, and actually communicate with the public very effectively. In addition to that, it helps different government teams or departments to work together better by automating processes and sharing the data safely. So overall, it's a flexible, I would say, platform that actually supports many different needs across government work. But the question is why we test government cloud, right? Because testing government clouds is really important. Why? Because this system actually handles services that citizens rely on their day-to-day basis. For example, let's say a user is applying for a renewal of his license, right? But it didn't get renewed because of a bug, right? Or if a health benefit application got failed, right? Again, it's a big issue. Actually, testing helps avoid these kind of issues for the citizens to come forward, right? Also, the government cloud systems also connected with multiple different applications. For example, it may connected with some databases. Also, it connected with some payment gateways as well, right? Now, if those connection fails, that will cause major problems. Also, this system also handles a lot of personal information of citizens, like like their names, right, their addresses, their financial status, right? Now, testing makes sure that this data is handled correctly and securely. In addition to that, different users, like when we talk about citizens, when we talk about admins, or maybe employees, right? They have different views and permissions. So testing help us to confirm that every role sees and does only what they are supposed to do. So in short, testing helps the team to prevent from real world failures, protect data, and actually ensure people can trust the system. Now let's see how actually Provar helps with testing the Salesforce Government Cloud. The Provar is a testing tool that is engineered from the ground up to test Salesforce. It knows the platform really well, including the Salesforce Gov Cloud. It works in the secure and the compliant environment like FedRAMP, again, which is really important when we talk about government projects. And the best part is that you don't need to be a developer or maybe a automation engineer to write the test cases in Provar. Right, you heard it right. Means anyone in your company, whether you are a QA, manual QA, I would say a BA, or maybe from any management role, right? You can, if you know the test scenario, you can easily build the test cases in Provar by using its user-friendly approach of point and click that I'll be showing you as part of this demo as well. In addition to that, it also supports the profiles and permission-based testing. Like with Provar, you can ensure that what a user can see and what a user cannot. In addition to that, it's not about the UI only. Proval do have the capability to actually test the backends as well. Means the APIs, the data which is running behind the scenes, you can absolutely test that with the help of the Provar application. So with Provar, team can test faster, safer, while staying compliant. So that was the slideshow that I have for you. And now let's jump on the exciting stuff that is known as the demo, right? But yeah, before jumping on the demo, I really want to share the scenario that we are building it today. So it's an actually license approval flow where a user applies for a license, and if that license got approved, it will be he will be notified with the help of an email. So this test case will actually validate two things. Now, the one thing is whether he will be notified with the help of an email or not. And the second thing is whether the content of that email is correct or not. So it's a complete end-to-end test case, which is starting from Salesforce and ending at an email validation. As you can see on my screen, there are two windows. On the left-hand side, you can see the Chrome browser on which a public sector application, the license and permit is application is selected. And on the right hand side, you can see the Proval Test Builder. Now, the Proval Test Builder is basically used for authoring of your test cases, but it is also used for the debugging purposes as well. Now, as per the flow, we have to first create a license application, right? In order to that, we have to actually interact with this new button. Now, in Provar, whenever you are building your automated test case, any field that you want to interact with, uh, the only thing that you have to do is go to that field, right click on that, and add to test case. Now, once you do that, with the help of Provar metadata driven approach, Provar Test Builder intuitively understand that we are on the Salesforce Business License Application homepage, and the field that we're interacting with is the new field. Now, based on the type of the field, Provar uses its intelligence and decide on what could be the interaction type you might be doing. But again, if you want to change it, you can change it at any point of time. In addition to that, Provar gives you ability to take screenshot before and after every step. But in case of test case failure, what it will do, right? Really good point. And actually, Provar is a test automation tool that is designed for anyone who wants to use it. Keeping that thing in the mind, right? Provar knows the pain of a QA, right? So whenever there's a scenario like a test step got failed and you haven't configured the test step to take a screenshot, what Provar will do, it will actually take a screenshot of the entire screen, grab the failure records automatically, and get it attached in the execution report for you so that you can share that logs and the failure screenshot with the development team and get it fixed as soon as possible. Now, what I'll do, I'll just quickly click on add and do over here. And what you'll notice that the step got added in the test builder. And on the left hand side, what you can see, it's changing the applications and the list view and coming back on the right applications automatically. And now it will click on the new button. Now all this is happening. Why? Because again, it's because of the auto navigation feature of Provar, right? It's not like it is doing everything on the in the air, but it's using its the auto navigation feature. Now let me show you one more thing. So let me just execute the same step one more time, and this time I'll not be on the same I would say object. Let's say I'm on the account. Now, if I'll execute the same scenario using any automation tool out in the market, this step, this test step will gonna fail. Why? Because it will click on the new button present on the account page, right? Whereas we don't have it as part of our scenario. Whereas using the metadata-driven approach of Provar, right? Provar actually it's not only like Provar just knows the field name or what the field type is, we actually knows where the field is located. So you have seen how Provar has automatically navigate to the right object and then click on the new button. All this is happening using the metadata. Now what I'll do over here, I'll just quickly fill up some of these fields real quick over here. I'll just fill up all the mandatory one real quick. And that's it. Now, as I discussed earlier, right, that any field that you would interact with or want to have it as part of your test step, just right click on that step and add to test case. In the similar way, whichever the screen you are on, with the help of the Provar metadata-driven approach, Provar Test Builder knows that this time we are on the business license application new screen, and the field that we are interacting with is a description field. Now this time, this is a text type of field. That's why the interaction type is coming as set. But again, if you want to change it, you can change it at any point of time. In addition to that, whatever the value that you have provided in the field, the same value will get copied in the test builder. And the only thing that you have to do is just press add and do. Now, as soon as I do that, again, the step got added in the Provar test builder. And then in the similar way, which are the field that you want to interact with, the same way you have to do it, right? Let's see about this cleaner type of fields. Again, really complex when we talk about test automation or handling date and cleaner type of fields using test automation. In Provar is just like a one-step process. Go over there and select it, and that's it. Same goes for other type of fields as well. Let's say the lookup field, right? Again, lookup field is a very specific when we talk about Salesforce. And actually, when we automate it using any other tool, it's a three-step process, because what it will do, it will first type the value, then search for it, and then select it, right? So it's a three-step process, right? Whereas in case of Provar, it's just a one-step process. And that's the benefit of having a purpose-built solution in your organization, right? Just like this. Pick list kind of failed, same way. Right click on that, add to test case. Whichever value that you have selected, the same value will get popped up. If you change it from here, the value will get updated over here. But as of now, since we're applying for license, I'll update it back to license and click add and do. You might be noticing one thing that as soon as I'm adding the steps, right, this what Provar is doing actually, it is not only adding the steps in the test builder, but it is actually executing in the real time and giving you the real time validation with the help of these green sun indicators, right? So as compared to any automation tools in the market, right, where you first write your test cases and just to see whether it's working fine or not, you execute it afterwards, right? And if something goes wrong, right, you will fix it and again execute it just to see whether it's working fine or not, right? So it's a complete wastage of time. Whereas in case of Provar, you can build, you can execute, and you can debug your test cases all at once time, right? So you have already increased your productivity by 300%. Now, as you see that for each and every field, what I have done, right click and add to test case, provided the value, and then add and do. Then I know you might be having a question that let's say you have 50 fields on the screen or maybe 100 fields on the screen, right? and you have to fill up all the fields, right? So do I need to go and select each and every field and do right click and add to test case? Previously, yes, that's the only approach. But now with the addition of the Provar AI in the tool, you don't have to do it because all these things will be handled with the help of the Provar AI. Let me show you. So over here, what I'll do, I'll again map this field and just right click and add to test case. As soon as I do that, you will see one toggle button over here, that is the AI steps. Now, as soon as I toggle on this step, right, what it will do, it will again uses the metadata and actually fetch all the fields that is present on the page. So now if you have 50 fields, you have 100 fields, you don't have to worry about it, right? Just go over there, select whichever the field that you want to go with, right? And just simply press add all. Now, what Provar will do, it will actually build all those test cases using its AI feature and just like this. And if you want to execute it, please go ahead, right? And in addition to that, it will actually generate random data as well. That is that you can actually that you are seeing in the on the screen, right? For that fields that you have interacted with. So AI is there to actually reduce our efforts and actually provides using in the right way. Now what I'll do, I'll just right click on that save button, add to test case, and I'll this time I'll configure these steps to take screenshot. So one screenshot before clicking the save button, another screenshot after clicking the save button, and just add and do. So now we have actually created a license application. So as a next step, what we have to do, we have to actually submit it for the approval. To do that, what I'll do, I'll just click on this one and try to interact with the submit for approval. Now here you will notice that I'm directly interacting with submit for approval, but not this icon. Again, this is all because of having a purpose-built solution, because Provar knows where the field is located. As I mentioned earlier, it's just not like the name and the type. We actually knows where the field is located with that metadata. Provar do this kind of navigations automatically for you. So you don't have to add any extra step in your test cases. So you can save time with by not adding all these extra steps using the tool. So now here you can see, click the submit button. What I'll do, I'll just right click add to test case over here. This time I'm going with a different route. Previously, what we have done, uh, we have first added the comment and then mapped it. But here I have provided a comment in the test builder, and then I'm adding it in the comment section. And that's it. So once I click on submit, I'll submit this test case, right? Then this application is submitted for approval. Now, once this is submitted for approval, this is actually goes to the record for the approvers in the approvers account. And now the approver has to log in into this into his account and actually approve this license application, right? Now in Provar, what I have done actually, I have actually created that part for you already in my as part of my callable test case, right? So inside this test case, what I have done, right? This test case is actually for approving all the requests, right? So I have made this test case as callable, right? Callable means reusable, means I can use this test case how many times I want, right? There is no limit on the usage, right? But the question is, how can I use it? It's really easy when I talk about callables and reusability in Provar. The only thing that you have to do, just drag and drop that test case and place it wherever you want, and that's it. So once I save it, right, you can see I just drag and drop over here, and I'll just pass the record ID as well, because to what record it has to follow. And that's it. And now I'll just execute this test case for you. So now here you can see it is actually launching another Salesforce instance, and it is being logged in via the other user, means the approver of that particular application, and the previous application is 25, and this is again, it will navigate to 25 and then it will approve it. But one thing to notice here, right? As of now, Provar is working between two different tabs, right? Now that's my point of showing this flow to you. Whenever you are working with different tabs, right, different browser windows, you don't have to write any extra step for that, because all this is handled by Provar itself. Now over here, you can see it has navigated to that same record and clicked on the approval. Now what it will do, it will actually approve it. And as soon as it got approved, it will actually trigger the email to the applicant on the applicant email's ID. Now, what our test will do, that it will now searching. It is actually now looking for that email, whether it is being received by the applicant or not, right? So this is the kind of validation that we are doing over here. As I mentioned earlier, two validations. First validation, whether the email has been correctly sent or not, means it is being not, the applicant has been notified or not. And the second is whether the content is right or not. So as of now, you can see it is making some attempts over here and validating whether it is being received or not. And as soon as it is got received, it moved forward. Now this is what we have known as the wait for, I would, or we can say as a conditional wait. So until and unless the condition is not met, it will not move forward, right? And as soon as the email got received, right, it got forward, and over here you can see it performed the assertions on the subject and the content, that whether it's being whether it is right or not, right? So from here you can see view test step output, and from here I can see the session got successful, and the content is your license application has been approved is equal to your license application has been approved, means from result is equal to target, right? So that's how easily you can build your test cases in Provar by using its interactive and user-friendly approach of right click and add to test case. I would say the point and click approach, right? And you can see that how easily you can build your test cases. Like now, uh, the main point is like anyone in your company, like the BAs, right, or the manual QA, they can easily build the test cases with this interactive approach. All right. So what I'll do, I have one more thing really important to show you, and that is actually really important when we talk about government cloud of testing the fields and their permissions and the layouts as well, right? Now, testing layouts and their permissions could be a very tedious task when we talk about any other automation tool, because there what we have to do is like go to different layouts, go to setup, and then check for different permissions, right? But in case of Provar being a purpose-built solution, right? Provar knows this platform, and we do have some internal, I would say, APIs that will actually do this task in just seconds. Yes, you heard it correct. We can actually test the entire layouts and their permissions in just seconds. Let me show you that. Okay. So now over here, you can see I just have a blank test case, and real quick, what I'll be doing, I'll be clicking over here, and you might be wondering what it is, right? So this is nothing but our org browser. So whenever we actually establish a connection between the Provar and your target Salesforce org, right? What Provar will do, it will actually downloads its entire metadata and save it inside the org browser. Now, as I mentioned earlier, Provar is a desktop-based solution, right? So whatever the metadata of your org that we are downloading, that will remains within your system only, right? So it is completely safe and secure. And that is the reason we are so much famous when we in dealing with the financial industries and the government industries. That's why they like us, because of the security, right? Everything is saved within the system only. Okay. Now, since this is the org browser, it means you'll be having the entire metadata of your org over here. Now, what I'll be doing, I'll be just drag and drop this over here in my test case. Now, as soon as I do that, this dialog box will actually allows me to perform a lot of API operations, right? So first of all, you can see add a SQL query step, means I can definitely write any dynamic SQL query steps that I want to write it. In addition to that, it will actually allows me to perform a variety of um, CUD operations, right? So here I can perform all the CUD operations. In addition to that, the API that I was talking about of testing your layouts and permission. To do that, what I can do, I can just add an extract layout step over here. Now, as soon as I do that over here, let me show you. I need to check some checkboxes that I want to include as part of this step. Means I want to include the field permissions. I want to include all the permission sets, right? So what it will do actually, it will extract the entire layout, the entire field permissions of that particular field, of that particular object, right? And will save it inside an Excel file. Let me show you, right? So once I'll execute this test step, all this output will be available in this format. And if I'll open it real quick over here, now this is how it will actually give you the output. Now you can see these are all the different fields that we have in this particular layout. So there are different layouts available over here, right? And this is the one that we are working on, business license application. These are all the fields, their type, and their different permissions based on the user profiles, right? Means for each profile, what they can see, what they can read, what they can write, all those kind of permissions. In addition to that, we do have an extra, I would say, since we have added them permission sets as well. So you can see there are different permission sets available as well, right? So how you can do this type of testing? So what it will do, you can just extract this report, save it in your system, and just execute the other step of asserting the layout. Now let me just real quick show you, right? Just drag and drop and use the assert step over here, right? So just extract the file once and keep on asserting it with the original data that you have in your org. Now, as soon as there is a change, maybe by maybe you have changed intentionally, or maybe it's because of a bug, right? So you'll keep on changing, you'll keep on asserting it. And as soon as there is a bug, right, it will tell you that, okay, this particular step got failed. And this is the reason, means this permission does not match with the given permission. So is it intentional or not? If it's intentional, please go ahead and extract a new one and keep it as the base. If not, means you found a bug and you can just reach out to the development team to get it fixed. Right? So there are different ways of that we have seen today, like the UI testing we have seen, the email testing we have seen, and the API testing. And the main part is the permission, the layout and permissions. In addition to that, since we are talking about the since we I have also touched about the AI feature as well, the test sub generation that you have seen. I would like to add one more point over here about the AI assistant. Now, AI assistant is nothing but your tech buddy, or I would say Provar buddy, right? Now, anything that you want to ask or about the Provar, any features that you're looking for, or any questions that you have, you can just simply come over here and just ask the AI assistant. For example, let's say, does Provar handle data-driven testing? Right? So now let's see what it's respond, right? So yes, Proval do support the data-driven testing. So Proval do have the capability to actually read the data from different sources. For example, it reads the source, it reads data from the CSV file, from the JSON file, Excel database queries. So just like that, means whichever the question that you have, you can actually you can actually talk with our AI assistant, and you can get your answers as in the real time, right? So that was all from my side as part of the demo. So what I'll do, I'll open the floor for the questions, and let's move towards the Q&A session. There's a question that, is it Provar 3.0? So yes, this is the the V3 version of Provar that we have recently launched for our customers. So hi, this feature is very good to add all steps in one shot. Is there a way to parameterize all the fields in one shot? So yeah, definitely. So we do have another AI feature that is known as the Provar AI test data generation. So what it will do, it will actually generate all the data in the real time, right? And you can actually feed all that data in the test steps. So we do have what's the release plan for 3.0. It's actually being released in the last month TDX. So yeah, it will be available soon for all our customers in some time. So can I get a trial license or free license key for learning? Yes, actually. So what you can do, you can reach out to us over the email, and we can talk through it, and we can do whatever possible from our side. So the next question is, let me. Any telecoms companies using Provar to test their Salesforce CPQ, COM, and some for Sales Cloud application, as telecom architecture is complex in nature. Did Provar supports automation for third-party applications during sales journey? Some of the test steps has to go out other apps and get approval. And that's a really good question, I would say. So yes, we do have our telecom clients that is actually using Provar to test their Salesforce. CPQ that you're talking about, Revenue Cloud, definitely they are using it. And as you mentioned about navigating or integrating Salesforce with third-party applications, right? Can Provar test that? So definitely, as I mentioned earlier, Provar do have the capability, right? Provides an end-to-end solution, right? So Provar do have the capability to actually automate within the Salesforce, outside the Salesforce, no issues. Now we can do it via the UI, we can do it via the API. It's all depends on the test scenario. But the answer of your question, yes, Provar can actually test whichever the application that you have in whichever application that you have any web application that you have integrated with Salesforce. Once the callable test done execution, how can I switch back to the first instance of the browser, right? And again, that's a really good question. The only thing that you have to do is just go to that browser and start mapping it. Now, Provar actually understand on what browser tab, on what pop-up you are working on, right? So all this kind of navigations actually Provar knows and do it by himself, right? Using the metadata. As we have earlier seen that how Provar navigated from accounts object to the business license application object, right? How that has happened. All this is with the help of the metadata, because with the metadata we knows where the field is located, and that is how actually Provar navigates to the right field and then perform the interaction. Yeah, that's a really good question about testing uh, the outlook as well. Yes, so yeah, so Provar actually test the outlook testing as well. So as of now we have seen the Gmail part, right? How the user get notified and how actually Provar done all the kind of uh, validations using the API. But yes, in the same way, Provar do have the integration available for the Outlook as well, and it will perform the interaction and the validations in the same way. So when can we have the latest build from the Provar? The new version used in the demo with the updated UI. Very soon, Vijay. Very soon. It will be available very soon for all of you to actually try it out by yourself. And in case you have any concerns, yes, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help you on that. How do we handle multiple logins and logouts in the same time in the same test? Again, a really good question, right? So actually, as we have seen in the demo, right, we logged in with two different users, right? The first one is the applicant, and the second one the is the approver, right? In the same way, right, you can have multiple test connections in in your test case. There is no limit on that. So for example, this is one of my test case. Okay, I'll go with the license request, and here I have used one connection. Now if I want to use any other connection, that whether it's within the Salesforce or outside the Salesforce, you can just simply drag and drop that particular uh, connection and just add it over here, right? So that's how you can have multiple connections within the same test case. uh, so you can have Salesforce, you have other application connection, and that makes your Provar test cases end to end. So there's a question like, let's suppose we have a velocity flow where we need to log into different profiles and user to complete one test case. how we can handle that. Again, it's a really good question, right? So there are a lot of scenarios where we want that we as when we are doing profile testing, right? Because Provar has a really good capability to perform all the profile testing within the same test case. So we generally get this kind of use cases, right? And how we handle that is, let's say you have 10 user profiles, right? And what you want to do, you want to execute the test cases for all those 10 profiles. Now, how we can achieve that? We can actually keep the username of all those 10 profiles in an any data sheet. For example, it can be an Excel spreadsheet, it can be a CSV file, right? And that's it. So we can read all the username of those users, right, one by one with the help of the read functionality in Provar, and then we can just pass all those username over here in the in the connection step over here, right? So this is how we can actually we can override uh, the username, and it will get logged in one by one. Means it will logged in with the first user, then perform all the steps, and the second, then it will logged in with the second user, and then perform all the steps. So can we expect mobile and tablet automation capabilities soon? Yes. So we do have Provar do supports mobile and tablet uh, execution. I would say the browser executions, right? So let's say you have a test case prepared and you want to execute on different simulations, for example, mobile or maybe tablet with different screen configurations. So definitely you can do that with Provar as of now. Can it handle APIs for other integrating apps with Salesforce? Definitely, definitely. So as I mentioned earlier, right, Provar can be used to perform UI testing, API testing, database testing, email testing, like anything that you want to do, right? You can achieve it with the help of the Provar solution because all these features are built inside the one roof. So whatever the kind of testing you want to perform, as you mentioned about APIs, right? Definitely, you can do that with the help of the Proar application. Can we log in? Can we log in button available with users in user setting for this? It would be great if you can just brief little bit about this question, because if it's about login, means Proar, whenever Proar do have that capability to actually navigate it directly to the application that you have selected, right? So all the steps, means if you compare with any other tools, like you'll be, first of all, you'll be into interacting with the fields like username, password, then clicking on the login button, then going in the app launcher, searching for the app on which you want to work on, and then finally you land on the desired, I would say, object from where you have to start building your test cases, right? Or from where the actual test case got start, right? Whereas in case of Provar, it's just a one-step process. Again, with the help of metadata, as soon as we establish a connection, as I mentioned earlier, we have the access of the entire metadata, right? So now, as you can see on my screen, this is the Salesforce application tab. Now, as soon as you establish the connection, Provar actually access all the applications that you have in your Salesforce org. Now, the only thing that you have to do is come over here, select on what application you want to work on, right? Just select it, and that's it. Rest all the things will be taken care by Provar itself, right? It will logs you in, it will go to the app launcher, search for the desired app, right, and navigates to the desired object on which you want to work on. Everything will be happening in the back end. You don't have to write a single step for that. Can flow be automated? Definitely. We can test the flows as well with the help of the Provar, right? So before before the execution of a flow, what the results should be looks like, we can assert that, and after the execution of a flow, what the results should be, we can test that portion as well. So thank you all for joining this webinar, and that actually a really good interactive session. Thank you for asking so many questions, right? If you have any other questions, please reach out to us over the emails, right? And yeah, definitely we'll be getting in touch with you pretty soon. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.